Good morning, Moore Elementary students and staff. Today is Wednesday, November 25th, 2020. Good morning, Ms. Fusi.
Good morning, Mr. Quall.
We're going to start off with our Thanksgiving gobble gobble joke of the day. Why did they let the turkey join the band?
Why,
did they
Mr. Quall?
Because he had his own drumsticks.
Oh, jeez.
Ba-dum-bum-bum.
Woohoo.
Today is National Shopping Reminder Day. This day officially begins the countdown of days you have left to get your holiday shopping done. Some people dread this day, like myself, and others get excited to begin checking off their lists. Make sure you shop local. Support our Mora and Kanabec County businesses.
Don't forget your moms.
And
Please don't forget
mom.
your moms. I'm a mom, so that's important.
Yep.
Social workers quote of the week. Be thankful for what you have. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never have enough. Especially think about that on Thanksgiving.
Reminder, due to our holiday break, there will be no Tier 1 childcare this Thursday and Friday, November 26th and 27th. And now, here's a message from Mrs. Grawn in the health office.
Hello, my Mora Elementary School friends. This is Ann Grawn, your school nurse. Typically, I come into everybody's classrooms and talk to them in the fall. However, this year is a little bit different, and I get to come to you virtually like all of your teachers. And so I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and I hope that you're able to learn something during our little talk this morning. There's three things I want to talk to you about today. I want to talk about germs, I want to talk about head lice, and I want to talk about food. And so we're going to start with germs first. And this is a very important topic any year, but given the fact that we are in a current pandemic with the coronavirus, this is very, very important. And so there are three things that I really want you to do. I want you to stay home if you're sick. I want to make sure you're covering your nose or your mouth when you're coughing and sneezing, and I want you to wash your hands. This year, because of the pandemic and the coronavirus, we're adding 2 additional steps. We are wearing masks and we are socially distancing. And so making sure that we wear our masks when we are out in public is helping not only yourself, but everybody around you because it's trapping our germs inside of our masks. The most important things with masks is that we try really hard not to touch them when we're wearing them, but that we wear them appropriately. And so we don't wear them under our nose, and we don't wear them so they don't cover our mouths. We want to make sure our nose and our mouths are covered with our masks because then that helps create the barrier between our nose and our mouths. We also want to make sure we're socially distanced, which means we stay 6 feet apart when we're out in public or when we were in school. And that's to make sure that we don't transfer the germs amongst others. And so with those steps, we can help reduce the spread of germs within our schools. So when we do come back in person, I want to make sure that you are staying home if you're sick. This is not the year to come to school when you're sick. So please, please stay home. And your parents or guardians can call me if they have any questions and we can walk through this different scenarios. I want to make sure you're washing your hands. So you can sing a song. This is the way we wash our hands. You can sing the alphabet. You can count to 20. I want to make sure that you're getting a lot of soap and that you're sudsing up your hands and you're washing them until they are good and clean, and then we dry them when we're done. And make sure you're coughing and sneezing into your elbow. Or coughing sneezing in our mask and then replacing the mask if it gets dirty. So those are some really key tips on trying to stay healthy and not spread germs when we're in school or out in the public. The second thing I want to talk to you guys is about head lice. And we haven't really talked about head lice a lot this year, but that is an issue that does come up from year to year. Head lice are tiny bugs that like to live in our heads. They are not contagious, or they're not harmful. They are bothersome and they can be annoying, but they're not going to hurt you when they're on your head. they can be contagious if we are head to head or we're sharing items. And so when we're at school, we do, or we are, if we are out and about, we don't want to be sharing hats. And now that it's cold outside and we wear our hats, we want to make sure that our hats stay on our own heads. Because as much as those bugs like to stay on our own head, they will crawl up into a hat. And then when that other person puts it back on, they can crawl back down into your head. And so we want to make sure that we are not sharing hats among people. And that we're not giving each other hugs. This year, because we're socially distanced, it's not as big of a deal. But we want to make sure that we're not coming close to other people and rubbing our heads together. In the past, I've also talked about sleepovers or staying over at other people's houses and sharing pillows and blankets. Again, because of the coronavirus, we are socially distancing and we're not supposed to be going to other people's houses. But that's something to keep in mind as well. And so whatever your head ends up touching is a potential for those bugs to spread to another person. They do not fly. They do not leap. They literally have to crawl from one head to the next head. So there has to be a contact there with that as well. And so we'll talk more about head lice when we return in person. But I just want you all to be aware of that and make sure that you're doing your part to help reduce the spread. The third and final thing I want to talk about is food. We are obviously, again, not in person, but when we come back, we want to make sure we're not sharing food with our friends. And so we have students that have allergies in our building, and some are allergic to peanuts, some are allergic to fruits, some are allergic to fish. It really all depends. And so we want to make sure that we are keeping our food with ourselves and we're not sharing with friends. We do have the sharing bin at the lunchroom that we can put unopened packages in that bin, and then friends can come and take those if they're allowed to. But we are not giving food to our friends. And the other thing is when we do have celebrations within the classrooms, we want to make sure that they're healthy celebrations and they're not homemade food or consumable items. And so if you're going to bring something for your friends to share and eat, we need to make sure that it is purchased, it's in its own packaging, or if we are bringing a treat of some sort, that it's not homemade, because we need to make sure that we are aware of our allergies. And so those were three big topics that I wanted to talk to you about today. We talked about germs and how to reduce the spread of them. We also talked about head lice and how to reduce the spread of head lice. And then last about food and not sharing our food and when we are at school. So I hope that you learned something today and that you can think about it. And when we do come back in person, we can put those three things into play and we can remain healthy and have a great rest of our school year. So I hope you guys are all doing your part, and I hope to see you all back here very soon. Have a great day.
Thanks for those health reminders, Mrs. Gran. Let's all continue to do our part.
The elementary and high school have drop boxes located outside their buildings for completed homework. You are returning. You can also place your homework in the designated spot at your home, and our drivers will collect it. Please let the classroom teacher or office know if you have any questions or concerns. I watched a lot of parents come in and drop off homework today in our drop box, so that was really good to see. So thank you for doing that.
Congratulations to our Mustang Pride staff winner. Our certified teacher winner is Mrs. Kunke. Thank you, Mrs. Kunke, for being such a great team player and always willing to help.
All right, Mr. Quall and I have distance learning tips of the week for you. First of all, when attending small group sessions, please make sure you don't log in until your designated time to log in. We want the small group that is currently in session to not have any interruptions at all. Also, if you are logged in, please make sure you keep your iPad still. Preferably set down to keep the cameras and sound from affecting others.
I was bopped into a meeting last week, and I saw there was no one doing anything on purpose, but their camera was moving quite a bit, and I was surprised at how much noise that can make. So I think it's just best to set it down, try to find a flat surface where it can stay.
And so you're not distracting others with that. So be mindful of that. Thank you for doing that.
And just overall, I'm so impressed with the great job that everyone is doing with distance learning. We know it's not easy, but our attendance this week was just fantastic. Ms. Fusi and I sat down with the office team and reviewed that, and way better than it was in the spring. So kudos to everyone that's involved. Shout out to our parents, our students, and staff for making such great improvements from last spring. Keep up the great work.
All right.
Make it a great day.
Or not.
The choice is always yours. Have a
Have a great holiday weekend.